Letter number 29 on the value of training your mind and body of one of the lesser known Stoic philosophers is Mu- Musonius Rufus, who was the mentor of Epictetus. He was one of the most popular and famous philosophers in Rome during the first century and even after he died, he was concerned with what we should do if we want to live a good life. Training yourself, he believed, was the most important aspect of philosophy. While Musonius ran his own philosophy school where he talked a lot, he continuously stressed the importance of putting the lesson into practice. Just saying that we need to be mentally thorough is not enough if we want to become better at enduring hardship. We need to train ourselves constantly. Life is hard and we need to make ourselves resilient so we can deal with it better. Here's what Musonius said about the training. We will train both soul and body when we accustom ourselves to good heat, thirst, hunger, scarcity of food, hardness of bed, abstaining from pleasure, and enduring pains. Training is an important aspect of philosophy. The Stoics realized that just like we regularly train our bodies, we need to keep training our minds to stay focused on living a good life. We cannot expect to read about a few life lessons and when always life by them. I don't know about you, but I find that I frequently forget about what leads to a good life. When I don't remind myself of it enough, I might stop my meditating, reading books, and enjoying the smaller things in life. It's the same way with my strength and stamina. If I don't train, I slowly lose my physical capabilities. I know I wish we could train a few times and then keep our gains forever, but neither body or mind has that power. I love how Seneca shared advice for fitness with his friend Lucilius. There are easy and quick exercises which tire the body out quickly and save times, which we should particularly keep in mind. Running and moving the arms with weights and jumping either to high jump that lifts the body. It's hard to imagine there were fitness programs in ancient Rome, but they really valued staying in shape. But Seneca also said, whatever you do, come back quickly from the body to the mind. Exercise the mind night and day. It is nourished by a moderate effort. That's the key, moderate effort. Only when you exert moderate effort can you maintain your strength and potentially grow stronger. This is true for the body and the mind. When you have acquired stoic wisdom, it's important that you maintain that wisdom. Keep reading about the philosophy, keep reading yourself of the principles. That's the only way to maintain it. And if you learn new things as you go, that's great too. In fact, it's highly like you keep learning new things, whatever you like it or not. It's the same thing with the body. I know that society is all about bigger, better, stronger, but that's not a realistic goal. It's much more realistic to say, I am going to get strong and then I am going to stay strong. I don't need to be stronger. I get the whole mantra of doing more, improving by 1% and being just a little bit better. But you and I both know that's not sustainable. Even if we push ourselves a little bit every day, we soon reach a wall. When that happens, we stop, and when we lose our wisdom or strength, that's something you can avoid by aiming to maintain whatever you have. Like two stoics focus on a moderate effort. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, a moderate effort has helped me to build a sustainable career. I kept doing just a little bit year in, year out. Everything compounds. Letter number 30 on living a resourceful life. Have you noticed how quickly we become accustomed to the things we have in our lives? We all have our objects. We think we cannot live without. When I am at home, I guarantee generally wear several pairs of shoes during the week. I have my favorite pair for running, another one for going on a walk, a pair I like to wear when I lift weight, and a few pair for social situations. But when I go on a trip or a vacation, I cannot bring all the shoes I like to wear. When I go away with a suitcase, I usually wear my favorite sneakers and I will bring a pair of running shoes before I leave. I always think I wish I could bring everything I need, but as soon as I arrive, I realize that I actually don't need that much to do exactly the same things I do at home. It's not just shoes for, of course. This is true of many of the things we think we need, and it's something Seneca explained well. He said, Until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We have been using them not because we needed them but because we had them. Think about it. How many things in your life can you classify like that? I know it's difficult to imagine a life without your favorite mug or any other thing you have grown accustomed but but once you leave your home you will realize you can continue to live well. If you think you need a whole laundry list of items, You cannot live without your giving materials objects too much power. The only things we really cannot live without are the basics: water, food, shelter. Other things are optional. When you live your life focusing on material object, two things happen. You don't get attached to objects. Sometimes things like jewelry, shoes, clothes, or your favorite mug become parts of your identity, but we are not defined by what we own. These are simply things we temporarily have in our lives. You will feel grateful for what you do have. Janet Jackson and Joni Mitchell was spot on when she sang you don't know what you have got till it's gone. She of course talked about a lover, but it's really true across the board. When the things you really on are temporarily out of your life, you realize that you didn't appreciate them enough. That should serve as a reminder to be grateful today for what you do have. One of the biggest benefits I have experienced from Stoicism is that philosophy makes you resourceful in life. It's not about what we have, it's about what we do with the things we do have. As I am writing this, the economy is very unstable. It seems as if our economy is like a ruler that's balancing on a finger. It goes all over the place. The only thing it's not is stable. When I speak to entrepreneurs and investors, I hear two types of thinking. People are either worried about all of the risk, and there are a lot of them, and it keep doing what they are doing, or they are already preparing themselves for a downturn. The latter group is willing to do whatever it takes to adopt, while the former group feels uncomfortable with change. The other day, I was talking to a business owner in his 60s. We were talking about the possibility of a recession and bear market that lasts for your not months. I will work a few extra years or take 10 by belt. I will do whatever he said. Definitely to have that type of stoics fortitude, we need to train ourselves. That type of willingness to do whatever it takes only comes from taking action for years. It's not something you build in a year or two. It's make decided. That might sound of putting, but it's 100% worth it. If the business owner I was talking to didn't build self confidence thought out his life, I bet he wasn't that defined right now. He would be worried out of his mind, but instead he has something that many people don't have: resourcefulness. The ability to find creative and realistic ways to overcome difficulties. Start practicing now with small things, and you will thank yourself later when that resourcefulness comes in hand. Letter number 31 on the value of making mistakes. There are many mistakes you can avoid in life without having a learn and hard way. I don't have to lose all my money in the stock to learn that stock picking doesn't end well for the majority. I can read about the most common investing mistakes and avoid them. You can say the same about many things from building relationship to starting a business. But there are also many mistakes we cannot avoid no matter how hard we try. You can read all about human nature, study phy- physiology, and yet you can get fooled by a charlatan. You can watch endless YouTube videos with tips about avoiding injuries, and yet you can get injured. Last week I injured by my back. It was completely my own fault. I had been working out more than usually, and on top of that, I also traveled. I simply put more physical stress on my body than usual, and I didn't consider the correct posture. I didn't really do my daily stretches for a few days before I got injured. The funny thing is that I blow out my back when I come back to my parents after traveling. I was feeling really good physically when I grabbed my parents' cat, a British short there by the name of Archibald. I felt a sting in my lower back on the field side. It was the same area I I have had issues with since I was 16. I hadn't had any real back problems for about 10 years, but I made a few small mistakes and boom, my back went out. I couldn't stand up straight. It's been 5 days now and it's better, but it was pretty bad. I saw it as a time to reflect on my habits and as a reminder that small mistakes build up. Sure, I could have avoided this by sticking to my good posture and avoiding too much physical stress around the time I was traveling, but I learned a lesson. If you ignore your good habits, you will pay for them. Every time I make a mistake, I see it as an opportunity to rethink other important things in my life. Am I spending enough time with my friends and family? Do I keep enriching my mind? Do I stay in shape? What about my diet and sleep? You can do a check in with yourself regularly, even if you do this once a year. You make sure you are on the right path. As Seneca once said, we keep learning as we keep living. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. It is human, but to persist in the mistake is diabolical. Learning how to live is a deeply personal matter. We have to learn what works for us, and we can only do that by living a conscious life. Isn't that how philosophy started with Socrates when he said the unexamined life is not worth living? As long as you live, keep examining yourself. When you make a mistake, don't get bogged down, learn from it somehow. Letter number 32, on mastering the skill of self talk. When you are healthy all your life and suddenly experience recurring pain because of a condition or injury, it does not only affect you physically but also mentally. I have been dealing with post infectious IBS for 2 years now. I experience several bouts of stomach pain that last somewhere between days to weeks. My self-talk initially was like any other time I would get the flu or short-term injury. Just get some rest, take it easy, don't work out much, it will pass. This was a passive mindset, accepting the conditions, but when my health problem don't disappear, that mindset become harmful. I was being too passive sometimes. You let life happen to you. That's what happened with my stomach problems as well. About 2 months ago, I decided had I'd had enough. I changed my self-talk. In life, I don't believe we can afford to be passive. I believe in addressing life head on. I believe that a proactive, proactive mindset work best mentally, physically, and professionally. No, I say I don't care about the stomach pain. I am going to work through it. I am not going to give up and lay in bed at the first sign of pain. I I'll fight. I am taking to the pain there, and that head on works for me because it gives me energy. This doesn't mean everyone has to do the same. The point is that you have the power to change your self talk if you want to. If you want, if you feel like the voice in your head is somehow standing in the way of living a good life, realize that you can change the voice. We don't have to give in to emotions, pain, weakness, and our innate drive to towards the path of least resistance. We as humans have the power to reason with ourselves. This is one of the foundational belief of Stoicism, as Seneca once said. You are a reasoning animal. So what is the good in you perfect region? So call it back on duty to pursue its goal and let it grow abundantly as much as it is able. When you are dealing with negative or unhelpful self-talk, you have the ability to use reason to make a change, while the perfect reason is an unatable goal. The point of stoicism is to appear to be as close to perfect as possible. No one expects you to always live according to Stoic values and be positive, res- resilient, resilient, and never have a moment of weakness. That's not realistic, but trying to be your best and most reliable self is very realistic. Never forget that we are stronger than we think we can persevere through difficulty. Even thought our mindset always prefer comfort, I really experienced that which my IBS. The more I give in comfort, the more pain I experienced. When I don't exercise and take it really easy, I always have more stomach pain. Exercise improves my gut health. Running is also very effective in improving my gut problems. When I exercise, experience stomach cramps and bloating. It's really uncomfortable to run, but after about 20 to 25 minutes, I start feeling better. I learned what works well for me through trial and error. Now, this obviously not the case with all conditions. The more proactive I am, the better I feel and I am pain free. For a while looking back, I now think that's obvious, but when you feel weak, your instinct is to stay put. Now, my goal is to keep working out and stay mentally thorough. Even if we know we will never be perfect or totally free of pain or problems, just like the Stoics, we can aim for the perfect. No one never got worse by trying to be later. Letter number 33 on the secret to becoming better. I have been thinking a lot about the difference between acquiring wisdom versus executing wisdom. I always dedicate a lot of time to study no matter what's going on in the world, and I enjoy the activity of reading, not just the purpose like learning or entertaining yourself. I have noticed that I spend more time merely consuming information, and I am not alone. We are all trying to make sense of everything that's going on right now. We read about history, philosophy, physiology, and any other field that could give us some wisdom so we at least feel better. But all of this sense making only leads to more knowledge and less execution, and as you and I both know, more knowledge by itself is not useful. What do you want to do with all that information that you are putting in your mind? It's time to execute. That's great, Darius. But how on earth can I execute when I am stuck at home? That is what you are probably thinking right now. I get it, so let me explain what I mean.